What is going on, Raider Nation? I'm just going to talk because this is the bye week, and I just want to get some thoughts off, perspective on the first 9 games of the year. Raiders are 7-2. It actually feels weird to say that. They're 7-2, undefeated on the road, and that things are looking really, really good in the big picture. But once again, there is also a second half. That is one thing we have to be careful of. So, where am I standing on this? Well, I think the Raiders are a good team, but they are probably not as good as their record is. There's a lot of things to point out. Really, the defense to me is still below average. I don't think it's bad, but it's below average in my book. There's times they've looked really awful, and I think the stats show they're ranked 31st or something. I have not looked at the numbers directly, but my eye test shows they still can get burned. Their secondary is a project, and that's something that's got to be changed, especially with the injuries to guys like Sean Smith. We don't know what's going to happen there. So, secondary, very average. There's some games that they haven't been tested, or you just see it's night and day. You face Blake Bortles versus playing Matt Ryan, and you can tell the difference, just how good or bad the secondary is. The Raiders in the last few weeks, they've gotten very good competition to face. You got Bortles, Jameis Winston, who's still having a so-so year, and then you have Trevor Siemian, who to me is not very good, but his defense has won him a lot of games. So, yeah, secondary's got its flaws, but the front seven and the run defense is a lot more encouraging. Khalil Mack, he's been doing a pretty good job, still living up to that hype, still making me very happy. And what's really strange is Perry Riley has been an upgrade over Ben Heaney at middle linebacker. I didn't think I'd get to say that, but he's once again a make-or-break player. And he might be terrible in coverage, from what I've remembered or what Redskins fans told me, but he's an upgrade over something. And I'm amazed that he's actually contributing the way he has for a guy that they just had to pick up off the street. Defensive line, very, very promising. I like what I've seen there. I think the coolest thing is seeing how many undrafted free agents are on the Raiders' 53-man roster. I mean, there's quite a few. One of them, on the offensive side, Denver Kirkland, used as an extra blocker. He's playing right away. He could be developed into a guy down the line and in the future. I already mentioned multiple linemen like Latham. A lot of guys getting playing time now for the big picture. It's a good sign. So where does it go from here? Well, you hope that the defense continue to play better like they had the last 3 weeks, but I am not going to bank on it. The secondary is still something I cannot trust. Offensively, Derek Carr looking great. I said it. There you go. He's looking great through the first 9 weeks. Though the previous week he did have that brain fart, and the good thing is they ran the ball the previous week against Denver. So still being said, the Raiders have to run the ball, and the way they did against Denver, that made me very happy. Just to see them pound it down the throats, the offensive line. Mostly good in pass protection, not exactly as good in running. At least typically we haven't seen the Raiders run the ball, but the week before, if they play like that, I'd be very happy if they continue to run the ball. Because I still think Derek Carr can't be that guy to take 40 passes in a game and try to carry them on his back. As much as I liked him, the way he's played this first 9 games, he's still got to be careful. And Amari Cooper so far living up to the hype. I've seen a lot of big plays there, and makes everyone pumped. Michael Crabtree looking good, and the thing I'm happy about with Crabtree is that usually people have made he might be hungry for money, and now he's got a payday. It's nice. Maybe it's just being in a good atmosphere of Oakland, other than the team he used to be with. Those guys up in the office probably made him not happy, and that's why he had a rough final year. But I don't know. Tight ends, kind of up and down with Clive Walford, Michael Rivera. It's good to see them involved here and there, but it doesn't happen enough. It's still amazing to see Seth Roberts, the slot guy. Once again, Reggie found some undrafted guys like Holton. Not bad. Really not bad at all. And once again, it's good to see them competitive. It's good to see them looking really good. But we have a second half. Derek Carr had this really great first half like last year. And then the second half, he fell off. Some will say the offensive line's injuries were why it happened. And that's fine. You can say what you want, it's fair criticism at some points. I have to hope Carr can put it for the full year. The best part is he knows what people say of him. He knows that he's got to step it up and got to be the next big guy. I like him as a person, and I know he's going to work. So that's the best part about Derek Carr. He's really taken these strides from the year before, and that's what you want in a year 3. So second half, what to expect? I can't expect them to continue this pace and go 13-3, 12-4 now. In perspective, they're still going to face some tough opponents down the line. 3-4. If they could go 3-4 in the last 7 games, I think there's something called being in. Something with the P word, which I'll let you decide on what that P word is, but you know what I'm talking about. They could most likely make it by going 10-6. That's what I would expect and want at this point. I think, when they come off the bye week and they go into Mexico, I'm still worried about being hungover. That's the thing about bye weeks. I'm not saying it's bad, but I do think there's times it's overrated where you're coming off a big win and then you're hungover, and in the first quarter or so of the next game, you might come out flat. It's one of those things that you're rusty, and I hope that this team. I mean, it's easy to say they're working and all that, but they haven't. When you don't play a game for 2 weeks that matters, you still are going to have a little bit of rust. And I know some are going to throw out Andy Reid's numbers and all that after a bye week, and that's fine. But you hope they're not hungover because they came off a really, really big win against Denver, and everyone is starting to buy into the Raiders. Everyone's being hyped up, but I think the Raiders themselves know it, so they can't be hungover. So Houston. I don't think they're even a good team, but they might magically show up. It's just one of those things. Here's the one thing I can say is that the Raiders are in very good shape for the big picture in the long run. I'm liking what I'm seeing with Carr. I like what I'm seeing with some of the pieces on offense. The offensive line really is living up to the hype. They say it's a top 5 line. I think Dallas has number 1, which is fine. But yeah, they have the top 5 offensive line. A lot of have said, and that's lived up the hype. So that's a very good sign. Mike Tice, got to give a lot of props there. Janikowski has been the one thing that isn't looking good. They cannot kick a field goal 45 yards or plus and say it's guaranteed like it used to be. NFL kickers got to make it under 50. That's what I believe in the NFL. You got to make everything under 50 yards. But he's becoming unreliable, and obviously that's not good for him. You hope he's not battling an injury or something mental in the head. You don't know if this could be his last year with the team. I don't know either, but it's not looking good. He hasn't looked good, and it might just force the Raiders to go for more touchdowns. You might see more 4th down attempts down the line. But Marquette King, I got to give the big shout out to Marquette King. The guy, usually punters don't get talked about, but they're people too, as Rich Eisen will say. Punting is winning with field position, and he's been able to pin them in the corner. I liked it when they punted on the 38. They didn't try a long kick with Jano, just punt it down and pin them deep. That's exactly what he could do. He probably is arguably one of the best punter in the NFL right now, from what I've seen on tape. I don't know if anyone else is better, but you never know. So where are they standings-wise? 7-2. See, I had them, when you go game by game, I had them going about 5-4 through the first 9. So 2 games more than what I thought. I had Baltimore as a loss, and then I figured that they were going to lose one of the 2 games in Florida before the year started. I thought they might be. Just the odds of winning consecutive games, and that probability is always tough. But they've pulled it out. They definitely overlooked Tampa a little bit. They looked hungover, but they still won. It really says a lot. And then the Baltimore game was also a coin flip. I figured they were going to split the first 2 games and have some ups and downs, but they've had more ups than downs. And really, a lot of the close games are going their way. They need these breaks, such as the bad snap against the Chargers. All these little breaks have added up, and it's favored the Raiders right now. So, I don't know. There's a saying, when you win a lot of close games, you might be bound to lose some close games. We don't know yet, but the 2 losses we've had this year were pretty much blowouts. Both the Falcons, the scoreboard doesn't show on that one. That was a blowout, and the Chiefs game was a blowout because they dominated. So, I don't know. I don't know if those close games are going to continue to go their way. Everything's going right as to why they're 7-2, and I still got to be careful and hold my expectations. But when you're 7-2 after 9 games, yeah, you want to get to that thing called a game beyond Week 17. You want to get there, and I think 3-4 it makes it a very good chance. At this point, yeah, you can start scoreboard watching. You can start. I mean, I'm not talking about the division. I mean, those are obvious things. But watching other AFC teams possibly in the wild card hunt. So, for example, when the Seahawks played the Bills on Monday night and there was controversy, I mean, remember that the Bills are another team that could be in a playoff spot. They're right in the hunt. So those types of losses over time can build up in the big picture. So when an NFC team is playing an AFC team, I'm pretty much rooting for the NFC team. Big example, the Steelers are going to play the Cowboys, I think, this weekend. So that'll just say, go Cowboys in this case. You want the Cowboys to win that. You never know. Just down the line, those losses by other teams and maybe the mediocre AFC from top to bottom might propel the Raiders into that spot. At least that's what you hope so. So, yeah, there are still ways to go with this team for the 2016 year. No one's going to say they're going to win the Super Bowl or anything like that, I think. But right now, it looks good. It looks good in the big picture through beyond this year. Everyone has said they like the 2017 Raiders. At least the moment the 2015 season started, they're like, I love the 2017 Raiders. They just have the couple years of growing pains, and that's what they are. This is a year of growing. Just you want to see more growth and progress. And if Derek Carr has the great second half that he hasn't had yet, then the Raiders will probably get in. That's how I see it. I think he's able to do that, and he can take the Raiders to that thing that goes beyond Week 17. But once again, we'll see. I do think the schedule. I mean, all three division opponents are pretty tough. There's no cupcake there, and you never know with the other games at home. You just don't know what you're gonna get. So, see you guys later. Let me know what y'all think, and go Raiders. We'll see you guys next time. I do want to just talk something non-Raiders at the end of this video. So, turn off the video now if you haven't already. If you don't want Raiders talk, I'm just gonna rant a bit. Alright, so the whole thing called the election, and that's going to get a lot of buzz. A lot of people are going to be angry. I mean, personally, I was going to be angry no matter who won. Alright, y'all, I ain't going to endorse anything, but I wasn't happy with either person running. I'm not saying everybody's corrupt, but the two people that were corrupt in my book. Now, the thing is, the rioting that's happening in Oakland angers me. It's just, you produce a stereotype, you get people angry, and sorry to say, whatever rioting you're gonna do, it's not gonna change the outcome. I'm tired of also on Twitter people putting a hashtag of, oh, I'm angry that my candidate lost. Well, it's not gonna help you. Twitter does not decide votes. Sorry. If people are angry and they didn't go out and vote, that's your problem. Okay, you're supposed to go out and vote and be active. Not always concerned about the presidency in this case, but at least I went out and voted and looked at state concerns. I know some of you are very happy over some of the propositions in California, so congratulations there. But, if you didn't go out and vote and you're angry, you have no excuses, all right? Sorry to say, that's just how it is. You gotta be active if you're able to, and be active and know what's going on, know the situation. Anyways, I'll see you guys later, and go Raiders.